Networking events, conferences, workshops, seminars, they are necessary parts of your business. They help you get out into the local community to learn more about what's going on. They help you introduce your product or service to a new audience, and they can help build confidence. But what should you do if you feel awkward at these events? Well, don't worry. I have 4 tips to help you learn how to work a room even when you feel awkward. Number 1, find the person in the room that's just like you. Chances are, if you're feeling awkward, there's someone else in the room that feels the same way. These are the people that's not usually engaged in the main event. They're standing off alone, standing off to the side, usually along the wall in a corner. Go up to them, introduce yourself, tell them how awkward you may be feeling, and then the 2 of you can become confidence buddies and work the room together. Number 2, be a human, not a sales machine. Go into a room expecting to make a friend or an acquaintance. Part of the awkwardness that you're feeling comes from you're going into the room expecting to make a sale. Go into the room rather to give than receive. No one likes to be pitched to. Be the person that's giving tips and tricks no matter what you get in return. People will appreciate this, and the awkwardness you may be feeling will tend to go away. Number 3, don't underestimate the value of one. Sometimes we feel that we have to go into a room and connect with as many people as possible. And that is not only awkward, but can also feel overwhelming. It's okay to connect with one person, be memorable, make an impression. You never know who is in that person's network, and one person can be an asset to your business. And number 4, embrace it. It's okay to be awkward. We don't always know the right thing to say. We don't always know the right thing to do. We stumble upon our words. We get brain fog. It's okay. People like to do business with humans, no matter how awkward you may be. Those are your 4 tips on how to work a room even when you feel awkward. I am Reesy Floyd-Thompson, the Digital Wonder Woman, and I help people learn how to get leads for their business.
Did you know Facebook now has an audience of more than 2.23 billion active users? That's more than a third of the world population. That means Facebook hit the jackpot. That's 2.23 billion people to profile and 2.23 billion people to target. And that's just what they do. Did you know there's over 70 million businesses using Facebook business pages worldwide? Those businesses can buy ads that target you based on behaviors, demographics, connections, interests, age ranges, languages, or even locations. 93% of marketers use Facebook advertising as a part of their marketing strategy. It all comes down to data. As the average adult spends 20 minutes per day on Facebook, there's no shortage of personal information being shared and traded globally. That's every day and every second. So let's play a little game. How well do you know Facebook? And how well does Facebook know you? We'll test your knowledge of Facebook privacy facts and myths to get you in the know. Myth or fact? Facebook uses your phone's mic to spy on you. This one's a myth. The truth is, Facebook does not use your phone's microphone to inform ads or to change what you see in your newsfeed. Myth or fact? Facebook can track what you buy, both online and offline. This one's true. Facebook's ad business depends on it knowing as much about your likes and dislikes as possible, and it gets some of its information from your web browsing. Facebook pixels can snoop on your web browsing habits even when you're not in the social app. Facebook also partners with payment providers and loyalty programs to help advertisers track what it calls offline conversations or in-store purchases. Myth or fact? Facebook reads your text and listens to your calls. This one's a myth. Sort of. Facebook's mobile app has a feature that lets you sync your texts and calls with Facebook Messenger. It's an opt-in feature, meaning you have to specifically give Facebook permission to do it. Myth or fact? Facebook tracks your location. This one's a fact. It's a big one. The feature is used for check-ins and advertising, but it can be turned on and off in your settings if you'd like. So in short, Facebook knows a lot. Your social events, your ad interests, your recent location, your contacts, your friends, your likes and dislikes, every photo you've posted, every video you've liked, and every time you've ever logged in. Your employer, your purchases, your birthday, even your face. The list goes on. Maybe this doesn't bother you, or maybe it makes you rethink every move you're making. Intrigued? Navigate to your Facebook ad preferences. That's where Facebook stores all of the information about your interests and previous activities. It's your personal insights page, and it might just give you some perspective on your social media use. Take a look into your interests. These are all of the pages that you've liked on Facebook in the past. Advertisers you've connected with. You might be surprised who's targeted you and how. Your personal information. Decide what information you want advertisers to see and get a sneak peek into how you have been categorized by Facebook. The accuracy varies. Your ad settings. Do you want advertisers to use your offline information? And finally, your ad topics. Tired of seeing certain topics on your feed? You can choose to hide these ads and improve your Facebook experience. Now you know what Facebook knows, but have you ever considered what your friends, coworkers, neighbors, or even what those other billions of Facebook users can find out about you? In recent years, we've watched as the threat of identity theft increased, the danger of cyberbullying grew, and the evolution of online dating changed the way we interact as humans. And with all these hot topics in mind, the issue of social media privacy has exploded. So let's take a look into how you can control your Facebook privacy settings. First things first, run a privacy checkup. This is the most basic way to get an idea of what and who you are sharing with. You'll quickly run through the settings for your posts, your profile information, and finally your apps and websites. The three main options for these categories are to share with the public, share with your friends, or mark as private so only you can see. These are overarching settings, but you can apply these settings per post as well. You can take other preventative measures within your settings, like requiring approval for tags and posts, or deciding to make your profile exempt from search engines. This can all be found in your privacy settings. Whether you want to hide your information from the world, or whether you're ready to share anything and everything, it's smart to be in the know about what you're sharing, when you're sharing, and who is watching. Take control of your social presence. You go to LinkedIn to make an impression. It's where you share accomplishments, goals, and insight. So how do you see yourself on LinkedIn? Are you uber professional, sharing mostly work-related articles and recruiting opportunities? Are you interest-based, posting industry articles and motivation pieces? Or are you a content leader, creating quality content on a variety of topics and building conversation? No matter where you find your place on LinkedIn, you want to be sure that you're managing a premium profile. Only 51% of LinkedIn users have a complete profile, but users with complete profiles are 40% more likely to receive opportunities through the LinkedIn network. The main reason to have a complete profile is to be sure that you show up when the LinkedIn algorithm does its math. When other users, potentially recruiters, are searching, you want to be sure that your profile shows up in their results at the right time. LinkedIn ranks their results using these factors: profile completeness, connections in common, or friends that you share, connection by degree, how closely you're connected, or groups that you share. Basically, without a complete profile, you become invisible to searchers. So what do you need to have a complete profile? Let's start with the basics. You need a name. Stray away from crazy nicknames. Just use what you're commonly and professionally known as. A headline. This is important. You've got 120 characters to summarize who you are, what you offer, and why you are valuable. Get creative and be succinct. A profile picture. This should not be your high school prom photo or a picture of you on the beach in Mexico. It needs to be a professional representation of you. Show a high-quality, clean photo that shows your face clearly. Adding a professional photo can result in 14 times more profile views. Your industry and your location. This one can get a little tricky. Your industry choice should come easy if you know exactly where you are or where you'd like to be. But if you're on the job hunt or in a temporary position, try to choose an industry that's flexible with your skills or aligns the most with your goals. Also, be sure to use your current location and update it as you move. Education. Be sure to include information about what education you have completed, what degrees or specifications you've earned, and what years you did so. Your skills. Include at least 3. It never hurts to have more. The more skills you have, the more likely other users are to endorse you. Endorsements do nothing but make you look like a pro. LinkedIn members that add skills to their profile receive 13 times more profile views. Your current position. Be sure to include a description for this. Your description should be present tense and brief, but descriptive of the work you specifically do. Previous positions. You need at least 2. If you're running low on previous job experience, use internships, leadership, volunteer work, or anything like that until you build up your resume. Connections. You need at least 50 to be considered a complete profile. Browse the suggested connections. Connect with colleagues, former and present, fellow students, friends, industry professionals that you think you could learn from. 68% of LinkedIn members use the platform to connect with past business associates. With all of these profile parts complete, you can slow down a bit. There are a lot of other optional sections to add, like volunteer work, recommendations, accomplishments, projects, or interests. But you should take some time to decide how to craft those sections to make you stand out. And remember, 66% of companies hire based on experience. With all of your posts, previous and current work information, location, colleagues, and more, you're putting a lot of information out there. To stay safe on LinkedIn, put some time into mastering your professional privacy. LinkedIn does collect certain information from you and about you, and some of this can be shared with other businesses. Much of the information is based on opt-in forms and information imports, so you have control. The new LinkedIn website demographics tracking tool shares activity information and professional details from its users with the businesses that run campaigns through LinkedIn. This is primarily for marketers to learn from the analytics of the platform. And finally, in terms of sharing with the other 562 million users on LinkedIn, there are 3 main settings you should pay attention to. Activity broadcasts. This can be turned on and off and controls whether your connections will see your activity, like changes to your profile or pages that you like. Privacy settings. You can be a LinkedIn ghost, an anonymous member, or you can share it all. The choice is yours. Connections. Do you want other people to see who you're connected with? You can decide if you'd like to keep this private. It's pretty easy to keep your information private because LinkedIn leaves you in control. The more you share, the more likely you are to be seen. And with over 26 million companies and 15 million active job listings on LinkedIn, you definitely want to be seen. Now, are you convinced that you can and should set up a complete profile on your LinkedIn? If not, here's some final motivation. 45% of individuals making over $75,000 a year use LinkedIn. 37% of all millionaires in the US use LinkedIn. And 9 out of 10 recruiters turn to LinkedIn when looking for job candidates.
Hello, fabulous women of Virginia. I became one of you in January when I moved to Roanoke to take up my new position as Executive Director of Career Development at Hollins University. Before that, I spent 3 decades in Massachusetts in higher education, moving between roles in career coaching, administration, and teaching. By the end of this video, you'll know a bit more about why I embarked on my new adventure and learn some principles of life design to help you figure out your next moves. Those of you with entrepreneurial interests know that bringing a new product or service to market requires design thinking, a feedback loop of trial and error. It starts with empathizing with the user's needs. You then prototype or test a solution and tweak it based on user feedback before you can materialize or implement your vision. A couple of design faculty members at Stanford University had the brilliant idea of applying principles of life design to figuring out your own career and life. Their book, Designing Your Life, emphasizes 5 principles of life design. The first principle is curiosity. Just ask what's possible. Don't rule anything out. Second, reframe dysfunctional beliefs. For example, instead of saying, it's too late, you can say, I'll start now. This is related to what psychologist Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset. The third principle is having a bias to action. Sure, go ahead and think things over, but don't let uncertainty prevent you from taking action. Just try stuff. Site visits, informational interviews, focus groups. You need experiential data to show whether you're on the right track or need to switch gears. The fourth principle is radical collaboration. This one's paradoxical. When you feel the most insecure or uncertain is usually when you avoid other people. And yet, that's when you most need a life design team, friends, family, and mentors who will remind you of your talents and goals. Women are great at supporting other people's dreams. You need a team to support yours. Reach out to others for help. And finally, focus on the process. Don't obsess about the final outcome. Just get good at doing the designing your life process, and your outcomes will be the right ones. These principles will yield a well-designed life because you'll be making adjustments in real time based on experiential data. I didn't know about life design early in my career, so I often felt like a jack of all trades, moving between different tracks. For example, a career coach and a professor are usually 2 different people, but I've been both, as well as a singer-songwriter who's made 4 albums. Today, it's that blend of career coaching, teaching, and creative performance that enables me to build new programs to help diverse and talented women at Hollins design their lives. Although I had no plans to move to Virginia, I just followed my curiosity, the first principle of life design, to see what this opportunity was all about. When I visited, I was so taken by the vibrant Hollins campus community and the beauty of the surrounding Blue Ridge Mountains and the wonderfully vibrant downtown city of Roanoke. I just decided to take the leap. When I'm not encouraging others to pursue their dreams, my new life design includes shaking my booty at Just Dance Roanoke and going back and forth between Virginia and Massachusetts, where my husband and 2 college-age sons still live. Despite the geographic distance, my family is supportive of my decision to take this leap because they know my new job is a great fit for me, and they know that it's my turn, my time to explore new horizons. Women of Virginia, I'm here to tell you, it's your time. It's your turn. What are you hoping to bring into your life? If you do the process and embrace your curiosity, reframe dysfunctional beliefs, engage in radical collaboration, and maintain that bias to action, the outcomes will be fitting for you. I want to thank Senator Warner and his staff for bringing us all together, and I wish you the very best for many joyful adventures in life design.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to lead others and the way wasn't clear? Maybe your circumstances were particularly dark. Perhaps you didn't feel safe and you didn't have enough information to make good decisions. Perhaps you were under pressure and you were scared, and all the while others were leaning on you to show the way. In those moments when the end of the story is hard to see and you're the one in the position to find the way, leadership is lonely and it feels impossible. The purpose of this video short is to remind you of the gifts you already have to help you see in the dark. Last month, my family adopted a kitten from a local rescue organization, and on the night we first brought her home, my oldest son and I were sitting with her just looking at her. We gazed at her from the side, and my son noticed how her eyes looked and was kind of amazed by it. He asked me if I had ever noticed them before, and we talked off and on about her eyes and how cats can see well when it's dark. We talked about how even our eyes change when the light is low. He said, "I bet there's no such thing as pitch black for cats." I wondered if that was true, so we looked it up. It turns out that there is such a thing as pitch black for cats and for just about everyone, but it's also true that cats see much better than humans do in low light, and they see differently. I was curious about what it was that makes them see that way, and I'm curious if the way a cat sees in low light might have anything to teach us about how we lead others in circumstances that we think of as dark, confusing, or hard. Here's what I found. There are 2 main reasons cats see so well in low light. First, cats' eyes are more sensitive than ours. Within their retina, they have many more rods than we do. Rods are the part that's most sensitive to changes in light. So humans have 4 rods to every 1 cone in their eye, while cats have 25 rods to every cone. So they see better in low light because they're more sensitive. In fact, they can see using roughly 1/6 the amount of light that humans need. Second, cats' eyes are more reflective than ours. They have a structure behind their retina that holds lots of little cells that act like mirrors. These cells pick up light that passes between the rods and gives the eye many, many more opportunities to pick up little bits of light available. This is the part that makes cats' eyes look like they glow in the dark. Sensitivity and reflection. When I first read this, I immediately thought, those are 2 characteristics that are often thought of as distinctly feminine, and 2 characteristics that are often, quite frankly, thought of as weak. And they're two characteristics I don't think I've ever seen in a job description for a high-level position, or any job description for that matter. And sometimes I think they're two characteristics that us ladies often think we have to give up when we are in a leadership role. What would happen if we changed the story? What would happen if we started understanding that sensitivity is strength and reflection is wisdom? To be richly aware of and allow yourself to feel things about all that is happening around you, that is strength. Our emotions are a form of intelligence, and sensitivity means that we allow ourselves to listen to that. To be thoughtful and consider how all that we're seeing, hearing, and feeling affects others, to reflect on past lessons, to consider what is in the best interest of others. This kind of reflection is wisdom that doesn't come cheap. So give it a try. The next time you're in a situation where you're full of doubt, fear, and unknowing, and you're in circumstances where it's hard to decide which way to turn, change the story. Do what you already know how to do, but maybe has been hidden in you. Be sensitive, reflect. That is how you will begin to see in the dark. There's one more thing that helps us see well in low light, and this third thing doesn't come from cats. It's pretty distinctly human. Remember when you were a kid and your room was dark and you were convinced there were monsters in there? Maybe they were hiding under the bed or in the ceiling tiles? That was your imagination at work. When we can't physically see what's around us, our imaginations can really come to life. When our circumstances keep our vision limited, we can get an inner vision, or let our inner eyesight get to work. Use your gift of imagination to consider the possibilities, just like you did when you were little. So what's on the other side of your darkness? A new product? Your first book? A new way of relating to your children or your partner? Maybe even a little bit of rest? Spend time looking for what isn't reality just yet. So how to see in the dark means that we remember that our sensitivity is strength and we use it to take in what is around us. Seeing in the dark means that we know that our ability to reflect is wisdom and we pause to allow time for it to happen. And seeing in the dark happens when we let our imagination run wild about all that could be. Do these things and you'll find your way. And as you do, you'll light the path for others. There's one last note, and anybody who knows me knows it's a note I like to share in just about every lesson I teach. You will not be good at leading, at being sensitive, reflecting, or using your imagination if you never pause long enough to take it all in. Your ability to see well in the dark rests on your willingness to treat yourself with compassion and care. For those of you who need research to convince you to take care of yourselves, I have some recommended reading on the next page. Thank you for watching, and thanks to the conference hosts for allowing me to provide this video. My contact information is below if you would like to be in touch. Remember, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Executive coach with Cortex Leadership here to talk about using your LinkedIn profile to build your professional brand. So let's get started. So how do you distribute your brand? Well, LinkedIn is one of the many ways you can distribute your brand to a lot of different people and really get a good professional reach. And LinkedIn, like Google, Facebook, anything that has a database of information, uses an algorithm to sort and show you people that you may be have something in common with, people you may want to connect with professionally, and it's going to do that with your profile as well. And the way it does that, several different criteria. The most important one is profile completeness. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to get your profile to a LinkedIn level of complete to really maximize that algorithm for your benefit. So only 51% of people who use LinkedIn currently have a complete profile based on LinkedIn's criteria. Only 51%. That means almost half are just getting culled out of the algorithm searches and not even getting any play on the platform and getting put out there the way they really could be. So if you complete yours, that's going to put you above 285 million LinkedIn users, and maybe more at this point. This number keeps going up. People keep getting on LinkedIn. It is the platform of choice for professional social networking. So what LinkedIn considers complete is what they call an all-star profile, and you'll see this on your profile when you log in, a little all-star symbol over here signifying you have completed your profile. There's 7 criteria they use. One is a profile photo, making sure you have one, location and industry information, a current position with a description, 2 or more past positions, education, 3 or more skills, and then 50 plus connections. And I'm gonna go through each one of those individually on what you can do to make sure you meet these criteria. So where'd your eye go when you see this? I'm gonna guess it's to the 2 pictures in the center there that have the lighter background. The face takes up most of the picture. It's very easy to see them. They're smiling. Those are the people I would be drawn to first and definitely want to connect with professionally, because that tells me that they care about their profile, they care about their image. They're people that are going to be professionally developed and really putting their brand out there in the best way they could. Other people have some photos here, but you can see the difference in the darkness behind there. It's harder to see the faces. And then the rest of these that just don't even have a picture, honestly, they get totally ignored by me when I look at this. There's 12 profiles. I'm really seeing 2 when I look at this picture. So having a profile photo, investing in a professional headshot, definitely worth it. So make sure you get that on LinkedIn. Location and industry, very easy. Checking the box here. All you need to do is fill in a couple of text boxes that LinkedIn prompts you to fill in. But what this does is this helps people find you among the sea of other people. So I searched for my name, which is not a terribly common name, and 8 results came up still. And there were several different people here. If I didn't have a picture, if I didn't have my location and my industry information, it'd be hard for someone who met me on a plane or at a networking function to say, this is the guy I met and the person I want to connect with. So I really want to make it easy for them to find me so that they can search for me and I pop up and I'm the one that they know it's me when they're connecting with me. So it just makes it easier to connect with other people. Another view here of what that information looks like on your profile. It's really the first thing people see. So current position with description, this is a critical one here. People often put their positions on LinkedIn and list that out, but people rarely put in a full description or any kind of description describing what that position means, what they did in it, impact they may have had. You have every tool at your disposal here to sell yourself on LinkedIn and really promote yourself and your accomplishments here. You're not limited like you are in a resume to 1 page or a couple of bullet points. So really use this space for your current position for sure, but I recommend doing it with every position, really putting a description out there for all of them. You also need at least 2 past positions listed. Again, I recommend putting a description for these as well. That just gives that much more information about you, makes you that much more appealing to someone who may want to professionally connect with you, and could be a good connection for you in the future. Your education, where you went to school, this is a big way people connect at first, and then throughout their time on LinkedIn is through alumni connecting with people they went to school with or who were in the class they graduated with. So definitely fill that stuff out and make sure you put in the year you graduated or are going to graduate. You can definitely put in future graduation if you're currently in school. But this really is a big way people connect. I think I was able to get up to about 160 connections very early on with my LinkedIn profile just through connecting with people from school I knew. 3 skills and endorsements. So skills, very straightforward. Search for the skills that really apply to you and the ones you want people to know about you, because you're selling yourself again here. You're making sure people understand your value in the workplace, your professional brand here. So what do you want that to be? Pick skills that you know you can have some demonstrable achievements about, and then endorse other people in your network they're going to endorse you for your skills as well. That's really how LinkedIn works, a little quid pro quo. I'm going to endorse somebody I know, they did really well in program management, let's say. They're going to come back and endorse me for training. And that way, it lends a little bit more credibility to what I say about myself when other people support it. 50 plus connections. 50 is a really easy number to get to. Don't be intimidated by that number. Like I said, I got up to about 160 when I first opened a profile. As you progress on LinkedIn and as you have more and more time there, you're going to want to get up to 500 plus. So you can't, LinkedIn won't show if you have more than 500. So you can have 501 or 1500. Doesn't matter. It's going to show 500 plus. But what that tells people that see your profile is that you're active on LinkedIn, you're active with your network, you connect with people, you contribute, you have something of value to add, and they're going to want to connect with you, and you're that much more attractive when they see that. Groups are not required for that all-star level. I went through everything that's required for that, but groups are a really useful way to connect further on LinkedIn. You can go and join groups that pertain to your industry or just something of interest to you, and meet and have conversations with people that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. So I really recommend leveraging the groups feature on LinkedIn. So those are the 7 steps you really need to get that complete profile and stand out above 49% of the rest of LinkedIn users. I recommend you do that, and hope this information was helpful to you. Have a good one.
Congratulations to Senator Mark Warner and the planning team on hosting the Virginia Women's Conference. With this year's theme of Commanding Stories, it is symbolic that Senator Warner would promote this conference, as he was the first governor of Virginia to support legislation to advance procurement opportunities for women and minorities, which was the launch of our SWAM program today. With over 24 sponsors at this conference, Virginia has a vibrant and thriving small business community that is the catalyst for small business growth in the Commonwealth, both public and private. More than 97% of Virginia businesses are small, and across the country, there are 11.6 million firms owned by women, employing nearly 9 million people and generating more than $9 trillion in sales as of 2017 statistics. Women-owned firms account for 39% of privately held firms and contribute 8% of employment and 4.2% of revenue across the country. The Virginia Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity offers tools for its small businesses in a variety of ways. Our agency has 4 pillars, which include the Virginia Small Business and Financing Authority, providing access to capital. Our Business Development and Outreach Services provides education to assist small businesses with strategic growth and development. We have a number of programs, including our Entrepreneur Express, our Construction and Contractors class, and we are the only state entity in the country to partner with Enterprise to deliver the Streetwise MBA program entitled New Virginia Scaling for Growth. Virginia is well known for both its DBE and SWAM certification programs, which enhance procurement opportunities for these businesses with state agencies. And final, the agency works as an advocate with all state agencies, localities, higher education, and our private sector partners on behalf of small businesses. We work very closely with legislators on legislation affecting small businesses throughout the year. In order to take advantage of some of our services, you may contact the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity by visiting us at www.sbsd.virginia.gov or calling into our customer service team at 804-786-6585. We are your economic development agency, helping you grow and prosper through increased revenue and job creation. Thank you.
My name is Julie Jang. I'm in my 6th year at USC. I'm getting my MD and a PhD degree. My parents are 64, going on 65. We see them at least weekly.
Mom, what are you gonna do after retiring? I feel like you're gonna have nothing to do. Learn how to cook.
We haven't talked about aging because it seems like such a negative thing to talk about. Talking about the future in terms of being close, that's still very optimistic. But talking about getting sick or being ill is not a pleasant conversation to have. I guess it's a little scary to think that your parents could be really ill or that they might become dependent. I don't know if my parents have made plans for long-term care, so I'm going to have the talk with them. Yeah, we used to always say that my dad would age better than my mom because he plays more basketball. He used to play basketball. He used to teach Tai Chi. Overall, pretty stress-free, happy guy. My mom's always stressed out, doesn't do any physical activity, but I think he's aged worse than my mom. So, Mom, I just wanted to get your thoughts on long-term care or what you thought about if you had any plans for the future. I know you're retiring soon.
Then I think that I prefer to live with one of you guys.
If we go to residency and we're busy and we're maybe not even in the state, what do you think is going to happen?
That will work out. With the money that I have been saving, I want to have somebody came and clean up, so it won't be a burden for any kid.
If I wasn't the one to physically take care of you in terms of,
cleaning up for me.
Does that make you feel like I love you less?
No, because you see me and I can see you, we still have a good time together. We might not be able to shopping, but we there.
Oh, don't cry, Mommy.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you expect your children, Tim and I, to be the ones to do that?
Well, see, no.
On an everyday basis?
No. No, because they'll monopolize your time. That's something you could pay someone to do. And they'll gladly do it because it is a job. It could be not just a job, but it could be something where they feel like part of family as well.
I think the conversations with my parents went well. The next step would probably be researching what they would want for their future.
Organization, or if you do raise money and you do volunteer, mention that, because that speaks to the passion that you have and what you care about in your life, rather than you saying, I'm great with people, I like people. The best way for a young person to get comfortable with an elevator speech is to first write a couple of them out and then practice and see how it sounds. You should learn to stand in front of a mirror and introduce yourself, give your elevator speech, see how you present yourself physically. Look at your body language, and you'll learn a lot about yourself just by watching.
After the second time I did it, I felt very comfortable with it, and I felt like, okay, I got this. I know what I'm doing now.
So a liberal arts major who may meet me as a business owner may introduce himself. Hi, I'm John Smith, and I'm a liberal arts major here at Temple University, and I have ambitions to be a writer. And right now I'm taking several writing classes, creative and journalism, in order to hone my writing skills because I know it's important in the business world. One of the other passions that I have is I'm also involved in utilizing my writing to help organizations. I volunteer for muscular dystrophy. I volunteer for animal protection rights. So I'm involved in quite a few organizations that I can help with the skills I'm learning in college. At the end of the day, I want to have a career that's very fulfilling to me. I want to work with people I love and trust and for causes that I'm really passionate about.
Third floor.
It was great to meet you.
Yeah, well, I'll call you.
Thank you
Get
so
together
much.
next week.
Okay, thank you.
So you think you're ready for your elevator pitch? Let's see, give it a try.